To watch more Bhagavad Gita discourse videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना. We might be chanting the Bhagavad Gita 100 times. Here, every day, every alternate day we are chanting. But how many times we are actually focusing? Maybe throughout we may not be able to focus, but definitely for some time, some days, some words we must soak up. And we must see in our day-to-day life whether we are becoming like that. Santushta Satatam Yogi. Then, Abhyasa. I was constantly reminding you that we have to make effort, our own effort. So, I was seeing Bhagavad Gita, only 12th chapter. What? When we read, Mayyeva manadhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. Nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. This Mayyeva mana adhatsva. How do we do that? How we make our mind completely surrendered in Him. How do we do that? So, ultimately, he says in the next verse, Abhyasa yogena tato. You do Abhyasa. Abhyasa is what? Making effort, which I was telling you yesterday, that whenever you find time in the midst of hectic activities, you just step back and remember God. Remember the qualities of the self. See the meaning of those attributes and see whether you understand that, whether it touches you somewhere. You will find that slowly it will happen. So, Abhyasa Yoga, this Abhyasa, doing Abhyasa is very, very important. You know, when we went to Siddha Yoga Ashram, in the article that I have written, Atmananda Swamiji was talking about an old lady. She was having cancer and was in great pain, and the doctor said that within few hours she will pass away. So the lady was lying on the cot. Many people had gathered there. They were singing Nama Sankirtanam. Suddenly, the face became bright, and she started saying, Baba eshiche, Baba eshiche. Baba has come, Baba has come. Who is the Baba? Her Gurudev. So she is getting a vision of her Gurudev. She is feeling that her Gurudev has come. And she started chanting her mantra. After some time she passed away. How did it happen? So the Swamiji was saying, because of Abhyasa Yoga. She must have chanted her mantras so much in her life that end moments she could think of only that. And I have seen Nutan Swamiji's mother. She got Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's disease was progressing. And the time came when she could not speak anymore. She had to be coaxed to take food. She would not know what to do sitting at the table. She had to be told, mix the rice, put in your mouth, now swallow. After that stage also went. She could not swallow even. So only liquid. Only thing that she used to say was, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. If anybody came near her, she was not recognizing even father, her own children. But she would say, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So I used to think, she must be chanting, this must be her mantra. And she must have chanted it so much, that everything was lost. She was only left with that mantra. So this is Abhyasa Yoga. I think that all of us can do it. We have got, those who are initiated, we have got a mantra. That is why yesterday I was saying that it is a responsibility that we have. We must chant like that. Then only the Guru becomes pleased. Guru is not pleased by any offering that you give. Maybe he is pleased, no doubt. But his greatest happiness is when you make use of the mantra that he has given you, the flame that he has lighted in your heart. You make effort to make that flame steady, bright, and more illumined every moment. This is what the Guru does, and he wants. So these are the things, I think, in Guru Sannidhi, you must try to do. You know, I was reading this book, Prabhat Rashmi, on the first day. And at one place, Swamiji is writing, the heading is Self-Realization and All-Time Sadhana. Fill every moment of your life with divinity. Very simple sentences. Fill every moment of your life with divinity. Let divine thoughts radiate from your being. Become a ball of divinity, a flame of divinity. Be a spiritual being, a spiritual person. Let spirituality be felt by you. To feel so is your task, endeavor, and challenge. When the mind becomes pure, when the thoughts become noble, and when the intelligence becomes self-reminding about divinity. What is self-reminding? The intelligence is assisting you constantly to remember the self. That will come with habit and effort. So, you are very intelligent. What of that? If you are a spiritual seeker, then your intelligence must help you and make it help you to remind yourself about the self. When the intelligence becomes self-reminding about divinity, God, self, and truth, then you will become spiritual. Then we can say that we are really spiritual. So, this is what Swamiji has written. So I was thinking that I can read some portions of my diary, which gives a picture of how I was doing my sadhana. That is the easiest thing that I can do. Are you interested in that? So I will first read a portion when I was in the household, like all of you. And the yearning that I had to be steady in this path, not to forget him. See, I used to always think, how is it that I am forgetting God? How is it that I am not remembering self? Having known this truth, that this alone will make me happy and fulfilled, how is it that I forget? How is it that my mind goes to various other things? So there is to be pain, a void, a pain. So I'm writing, oh Lord, this is in 1986, maybe just less than a year before we joined the ashram. Oh Lord, you are seeing and understanding my pain. What else can I do except taking refuge at your feet? But that surrender also is not complete. Contemplating on your holy feet, see, I would say that I will feel that I completely offer myself at your feet. So please lift me up, please help me. I may say that, but unless I do my own effort, that is, apply my own self-effort, how will I be lifted? So that means when we say this, that I am surrendered, there is a gap. We have to understand that there is a gap. Many of us, we say, I have surrendered everything to God. But actually we have not. Those gaps we have to find out. But that surrender also is not complete. Contemplating on your holy feet, the mind runs here and there. This is my state now. A seeker who is in such a state but weeps at your feet even for a little while, then, O Lord, will you not lift that child of yours? I am weeping and writing. That my mind is going here and there. I do not know how to restrain it. I try, but I fail. But such a person, if I cry and weep at your feet, will you not accept me? Will you not lift me up? I'm a child of yours. Do you not accept that child? If not, then how are you an embodiment of compassion? I'm telling God, with anger, that how is it that you are called at Karunamurti? I don't know anything, O Lord. I don't understand anything. I do not know how to call you properly. I do not even know how to meditate or do japa. Neither I know to do vichara. A seeker like this is at your door. Will you not make that seeker your own? Will you not accept that seeker? If not, then where is my refuge? So this is one day I felt like this. What do you say? This kind of, you may not write, all may not be able to write or may not write, but this kind of feeling and interaction with the indweller should be there. Should be there. Then another, in 1986, I am writing Antaro Mamo Pikoshito Karo Antaro Taro Hai. Many of you know this, that this is Tagore's song, which says, O Antaratara, O indweller, may my within, my inside, become blossomed. So I am writing, my mind is roaming about in darkness. It feels lifeless, without any strength. I was weeping, calling Posha. I call the Lord as Posha, my pet. So I was weeping, calling Posha. Why the mind is dark, O Lord? Standing near a window, I was looking into the darkness outside. Suddenly, I realized, oh, how amazing. In this darkness also, is it not you, O Lord? As brightness is your form, so also darkness is your form. It was a revelation. My mind was very dark, and I was simply standing near the window and looking at the night. It was night. So looking at the darkness, suddenly I felt that, oh, this is also you. If brightness is you, this is also you. Immediately the thought went to the darkness of my mind. Oh, then in that darkness of my mind, where non-enthusiasm, indifference, etc. are there is also you, and your touch alone is there. When the mind is happy and bright, I feel I have your touch. So I am enlivened, lively, full of energy. When the mind becomes dark, with no interest in anything, I fear I have lost your touch. But it is not so. Now you have made me understand, you alone are enshrined even in that darkness. Your touch is never lost. The fool that I am mistakenly think I have lost your touch. Is this kind of thought actually mean? No. Does this kind of thought actually mean taking refuge in him in all kinds of bhava? Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata. Krishna tells Arjuna in 18th chapter that in all your sentiments, all your emotions, in everything, your thoughts, you take refuge in him. Everything is in him. So after this revelation came, I am telling myself, so does it mean that when I am thinking this revelation has come, I have understood, this wisdom is there now, is it that it is tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata, taking refuge through all kinds of bhavas at his feet? Swamiji says, accept all bhavas of the mind. But today only I have understood the meaning of what he says. If I can remember, the Lord alone is pervaded in all our bhavas, then alone my surrender, taking refuge in him, will be total and complete. Surrender alone is the kingdom of fearlessness. Surrender alone is mukti. On the bright and sunny sky outside gradually dawns the darkness of night. Both are his eternal forms. Similarly, in the sky within goes on the play of light and darkness alternately. Both are he himself. He is there in sukha, he is there in dukkha. In this world, there is no other existence than the Lord himself.
Join our live event on the 10th, 11th and 12th of October 2020. Register at www.globalgeeta.org.